This is Group B standings after the first games that we have seen. Italy also taking on Albania in their opening game in Group B, and both Albania and Croatia yet to get points on the board after those opening games. So let's move on to talk about that game between Italy and Albania, shall we? Because obviously Italy coming into this competition as the defending champions, and so a lot of talk about what we could expect from them this time, especially with missing out on the World Cup as well. Well, it was a 2-1 win in the end over Albania. Little nervy at the end?
A little nervy at the start. 23 seconds in, 1-0 down. I mean, I've got no idea what Di Marco was thinking, but you put Bastoni in a world of trouble, and all of a sudden you're 1-0 down, first game in the tournament. That's a massive test of your mentality.
The throwing coach. That's the one.
It's a massive test of your mentality because the whole world is watching and you are 1-0 down inside 23 seconds. It's embarrassing. But what happened is they showed their grit. I thought Calafiori was magnificent. He reminded me, I was joking with you, he reminded me of a young Maldini with his long hair and his left foot and the swagger that he runs with in the gate. But I thought the one player that dragged Italy through very early on, and for the majority of the game, to be fair, was Jorginho. I thought he used all of his experience, and it does help when Bastoni got them back into the game after 10 minutes. So you get back to 1-1, the dynamics of the game. Barella scored a beautiful goal. Great technique, outside the foot, hit it with loads of fade. Then that was the real Italy, because they should have been out of sight. I thought Strakosha in goal, probably in the first half, kept Albania in the game.
That Barella goal, brilliant, wasn't it?
From the perspective of Nicolo Barella, absolutely. The technique is beautiful. Cutting across the ball, spanking it with the outside of the foot. That ball is bending into that post, and it's beautiful from his perspective. From the perspective of Albania, Anelse Husay, the center back, who's standing in front of the shot and whose job, by definition, is to go and try to block the shot. He literally gave you one of these, no! See, that's not defending. It's embarrassing to see that. And I suppose that it's a natural reaction, but it shouldn't be a natural reaction for a defender. He should come out there at the very least and make himself big, make himself a defender. Do your job. I'm not going to take credit away from Barella because the execution and the technique was perfect, but the defending was embarrassing.
Were you just as embarrassed, Frank, as a defender yourself at what you saw here?
A bit. I have to say that I have to join Ali in that perspective. And it's true, when we see, especially in Spain against Croatia, Cucurella going for a sacrifice and making that saving, you expect the player, the Albanian player, going and making himself bigger to make sure that he can take the ball even with his head. And we call that a sacrifice. And we know as defenders that we have to go for it, even if we know we might be hurt. But that's part of our game.
Let's talk about Italy then, because going into this tournament, there's a lot of people who aren't really putting a lot of stock into this Italy side, but many think quietly that maybe they're a little bit underrated. After this first game, what's your assessment of it?
Well, I've always thought even before the game, but watching the game today, they impressed me. Dark horses, yeah, because when I look at Italy, I think they've got a very talented 13, 14 players. The depth is not there. But Spalletti's...
No, they're defending champions, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, so the dark horses is like...
They failed to qualify for the last two World Cups.
It's Italy, so dark horses...
They failed to qualify for the last two World Cups.
I know, but... All right, okay. It's Italy.
Okay.
It's Italy.
But
Italy.
Is it Italy that we became so familiar with over those years,
Okay, they're defending champions. It's Italy. So to call them a dark horse, Italy will always be, if they're in the tournament.
Do you expect them to win the tournament?
If they're in the tournament and Italy are defending champions, I think they deserve more than just being called a dark horse.
I
don't look at them as outsiders.
A politician, isn't he?
I don't look at them as outsiders.
Well, do you see them being favourites?
No, but I'm looking at it
so they can edge towards dark horses?
No, that's leading the witness. I'll never, ever, in the history of mankind, in a tournament of this magnitude, call Italy a dark horse on their history. Now, what you can say is that, potentially you're looking at a team that a lot of things has to go right in order for them to win it. But I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think this team is any worse than the team. Hold on. I don't think this team is any worse than the team that won the competition 4 years ago.
You'd be stunned, though, if Italy won the Euros.
I wouldn't be stunned.
So let me tell you where they were when it comes to the odds as pre-tournament. They're 6, along with Belgium and the Netherlands.
Okay, that's not dark horses.
6 isn't... You don't think that can be...
My view is they're 12, 13, 14 players is very, very strong. The depth of the team is a worry. You're a couple of injuries away from potentially disaster. But I thought they played well today. I thought Scamacca led the line well. I thought Chiesa was busy. Fratesi, for a guy that's hardly started for Inter the season, was sensational. But with Spalletti, you get a manager, and you see by the subs at the bottom, he can manage a game like you wouldn't believe. He can sense and he can smell when players are fading, and he brings fresh legs on. That was probably the most outstanding thing on how he managed the game, because the last 15 at 2-1 was a little bit nervy.
You look at this team here. Seriously, question. Is this team significantly worse than the team that won it last time out? No. And so that's my point, that Italy, they have enough talent to trouble you. They're good enough defensively to where I think they're going to keep enough teams or make it difficult enough for teams to score against them. And so therefore, I don't know. I wouldn't call them dark horses.
I think we'll know a lot more after the Spain game.
Well, absolutely.
I've definitely got deja vu with Italy being called dark horses, because I think this has happened before in another Euro tournament.
Probably.
And it got the same reaction when they were called dark horses as well. Did you expect more from them today against Albania, Frank?
No, I think they've done what they had to do, especially after conceding the early goal. I was pretty confident that they would come back, and this is what happened, and very quickly. So they've been very professional, except that big mistake from Di Marco. But let's say that it helped them maybe to start their Euro maybe in a better way after conceding that goal. I know Italy so well. There is not a way of surprises that we can get from the Italian. I mean, they showed us that when they are at their worst, they can win a World Cup in '82. They can win a World Cup in 2006, and they can win 4 years ago the European Championship. So yes, you always have to count on them to surprise you and to make sure that you have to respect them in order that they can do whatever they have, especially when they're not favorites. So I think they would have to do better. That's for sure, because don't forget they play against Albania, with all due respect. We're going to see against Spain how it works. I think if they play against England, France, even Germany at home, or maybe Portugal, it could be a little bit tougher. But they have the quality, they have the individuals to trouble anybody and to go in a good way.
You look at a player like Chiesa, that individually, he has just something different than everybody else. And if individually he has a big tournament, an explosive tournament, the 1v1 situations, the goals, the creating opportunities, he makes them exponentially better in the attack. Because again, you think of what special talents can do for a team. Well, you can take a team that perhaps may not be among the favorites. All of a sudden, this guy gets on a run. You become a different team at a different level, with a different type of speed, with a different type of creativity. But it's going to take a special performance from him, because when I look at what they are in the final third, they need him to have a huge turn.
But that's my point. When you're talking about the depth of the team, if Chiesa gets injured, Barella gets injured, Scamacca gets injured, those probably potentially are the three most important players. There's other players on the pitch that you can carry if you get a knock. The squad depth is there, but those three, I'd probably even go as far as to say Scamacca leading the line is so important. But Barella was coming back from an injury and he scored today. He is super important alongside Chiesa.
Don, I'm sorry, but if England loses Rice, Bellingham and another one, they're going to be in trouble. If France loses Mbappe and Griezmann, they're going to be in trouble too. So, well, why do you want them to be injured? You know, it's part of the thing, and maybe one can be injured, but not the three. And I hear you, and you're absolutely right if they lose the three. But any team will be in danger. I think Argentina would have never won the World Cup without Messi. That's as simple as that.
Sorry, Frank, I didn't mean as in losing the three at one go. I just meant if you lose one, it's difficult for that squad to try and replace the individuals.
True. Can I just say, and I know this conversation is more about Italy than it is about Albania, but since our guy, Pablo, is sitting on the bench in Albania, we're paying close attention to Albania. Why are they passing the ball sideways and back when they're losing 2-1 with 5 minutes to go? What is wrong? What is wrong with just putting the ball forward and forcing Italy into a mistake, or forcing chaos, creating chaos, manufacturing chaos?
And they did at the end, didn't they?
Correct. And so you actually got direct
New
and created,
football.
and you create.
Ali,
Huh? Go ahead.
That's new football, Ali. You don't understand football, you know?
Sorry.
It's possession.
Dinosaur.
It's the beauty of football, the possession.
So harsh.
Crazy. I'm with you, my man.
No, but me and Ali are watching the game. We're all watching the game. And you're going, why are they keeping the ball at the back, Albania? 2 minutes left on the clock.
And by the way, by putting the ball forward, they actually did create a chance, and Donnarumma had to come up with a save. My point is, if you're one of these lesser teams and you are within a goal, stop passing the ball sideways and back and go and put it over there in the final third, and maybe something happens.
Especially if you've done your homework on Donnarumma, who hasn't been great in the Champions League when he's been coming for crosses. He's not had a particularly good season.
Which you were saying throughout the
So
game.
why wouldn't you try and exploit that weakness?
Don't call them dark horses, all right?
Okay.